Life can feel overwhelming, like a storm crashing down around you. Everything you've built, relationships, routines, stability, can seem like it's crumbling in a blink. But what if I told you, even in those moments of chaos, you could find an unshakable calm? Buddhism teaches us that calmness isn't something you're born with. It's a skill, like learning to ride a bike. And once you master it, you'll carry it with you, no matter what life throws your way. Today, we'll uncover 10 transformative lessons that will teach you how to hold on to your inner peace when everything else seems to be falling apart. Let's begin by exploring the first key step, your breath. 1. Breathe. Command your mind. Think back to the last time you were really stressed. What happened to your breathing? Maybe it sped up, got shallow, or even felt like you couldn't catch your breath. This is your body's way of saying, alert, something's wrong. But here's the thing, you can flip that switch. Your breath is like a remote control for your mind. When you're panicking, your mind is running the show. But when you take control of your breathing, you're telling your brain, hey, we're safe, relax. Here's a simple exercise. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Feel your abdomen rise, not your chest, your abdomen. Hold the breath for 4 seconds, letting that sense of fullness settle. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. As you do, imagine releasing all your tension. Let's try this together. Inhale, hold, exhale. Feels grounding, doesn't it? Now imagine doing this whenever you feel your world spinning out of control. Over time, it becomes your automatic response to stress. Each breath is a reminder, you've got this. The story. A monk once told the story of a man caught in a flood. He clung to a tree for hours, panicking. But when he finally focused on his breathing, something magical happened. His panic dissolved, and he found the clarity to climb to safety. It wasn't the tree that saved him. It was his breath. 2. Emotionally detach. Be the observer. Emotions can feel like tidal waves, pulling you under before you even realize what's happening. One moment you're fine, the next you're furious, devastated, or paralyzed by fear. But what if I told you that you don't have to drown in those waves? Here's the secret. Emotions are temporary visitors. They knock on your door, but you don't have to invite them in for tea. Instead, observe them. Imagine you're sitting in a peaceful room, watching your emotions play out on a screen in front of you. You see the anger, the frustration, the fear, but you remain seated, calm, and unaffected. Practical exercise. Next time you feel overwhelmed, say to yourself, this is anger. I see it. This is fear. I recognize it. By naming your emotion, you create distance between you and it. You're no longer swept up in the storm. You're the calm observer. A student once asked his teacher, how do I stop feeling angry? The teacher replied, why do you fear anger? It's just a passing cloud. The student didn't understand, so the teacher took him outside on a cloudy day and said, look at the sky. Do the clouds stay forever? The student shook his head. Your anger is like those clouds. Watch it pass, and soon you'll see the clear sky again. 3. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Here's a powerful mindset shift. What if every problem you face is actually a gift in disguise? It sounds strange, right? But think about this. Every challenge you've overcome has made you stronger, wiser, more resilient. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, start asking, what lesson is this teaching me? How can this situation help me grow? Take failure, for example. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted, or a relationship ended. At first, it stings. But with time and reflection, you might realize that loss pushed you toward something better, a career that aligns with your passion, or a relationship where you're truly valued. Practical exercise. Whenever you face a tough situation, journal about it. Write down what happened and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? The story. There's a famous Zen story about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors said, what bad luck? But the farmer simply replied, maybe. The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it a group of wild horses. The neighbors exclaimed, what good luck? Again, the farmer said, maybe. Later, the farmer's son broke his leg while trying to tame one of the wild horses. The neighbors cried, what terrible luck? The farmer, calm as ever, said, maybe. A week later, the army came to recruit young men for war, but passed over his injured son. The moral? Life's events aren't inherently good or bad. It's how we perceive them that shapes our experience. Call to action for reflection. Take a moment to reflect. Which of these 3 practices resonates most with you? Is it the calming power of your breath, the ability to observe emotions without getting caught in them, or the transformative shift of seeing challenges as opportunities. 4. Focus on what you can control. Release the rest. Let's be honest, most of our stress comes from trying to control things we simply can't. Think about it. Have you ever worried endlessly about someone else's decisions, the economy, or even the weather? It's exhausting, right? Buddhism teaches us a liberating truth. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. Imagine carrying 2 heavy bags everywhere you go. One bag holds everything within your control, your actions, your mindset, your effort. The other? It's stuffed with things you have zero control over. Here's the secret. You don't have to carry both. Drop the second bag. Practical exercise. Next time you're stressed, pause and ask yourself 2 questions. What part of the situation is within my control? What am I holding on to that I need to let go of? Focus your energy on the things in the first category. Let everything else fall away. This isn't giving up. It's freeing yourself from unnecessary burdens. The story? There's a story of a traveler who came to see a wise monk. The traveler was weighed down by his worries, listing all the things going wrong in his life. The monk handed him a cup of water and said, "Hold this." The traveler held it. A minute passed, then 5, then 10. His hand began to shake. "It's too heavy," he exclaimed. The monk smiled and said, "The water isn't heavy, but holding onto it for too long makes it unbearable. Life's worries are the same. You must set them down." 5. Master daily mindfulness. Life isn't lived in the past or the future. It's happening right now. But how often are we truly present? We dwell on yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's uncertainties, and in doing so, we miss the beauty of the present moment. Mindfulness is about anchoring yourself in the here and now. It's not just sitting in meditation for hours, it's a way of living. Every mundane task, washing dishes, sipping tea, even walking, can become a moment of calm when done mindfully. Practical exercise. Start small. When you eat, focus entirely on your food. Notice its texture, taste, and aroma. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. Even brushing your teeth can be a mindful ritual if you pay attention to the sensations and rhythm. Over time, mindfulness becomes second nature, pulling you back to the present whenever your mind starts to wander. A student once asked his teacher, "Master, I want peace. How do I find it?" The teacher handed him a cup and said, "Drink this." The student drank quickly, barely tasting it. The teacher refilled the cup and said, "Now drink it slowly. Feel the warmth, the weight, and the taste." The student did, and a smile spread across his face. "This is peace," the teacher said. "It's not somewhere out there. It's in the simple act of being fully present." 6. Visualize calm to conquer stress. Let's try something together. Close your eyes for a moment. Well, metaphorically, since you're reading. Picture a serene beach. Waves gently lap the shore, and the sun warms your skin. You hear seagulls in the distance, and the salty ocean breeze fills your lungs. Feels peaceful, right? This is the power of visualization. Your mind doesn't always know the difference between real and imagined experiences. By picturing a calm, safe space, you can physically calm your body and mind. Practical exercise. Create your personal mental sanctuary. It could be a forest, a mountaintop, or even a cozy cabin. The key is to make it vivid. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? How does the air feel on your skin? Return to the sanctuary whenever stress creeps in. Over time, your mind will associate this visualization with calm, allowing you to reset quickly, no matter where you are. The story. A woman once shared how she overcame debilitating anxiety through visualization. Whenever she felt overwhelmed, she closed her eyes and pictured herself floating on a peaceful lake, surrounded by mountains. Eventually, just the thought of that lake became enough to slow her racing heart. She carried her sanctuary with her, finding calm in the midst of chaos. 7. Create a calming ritual. Rituals are powerful. They anchor us, providing a sense of stability even when life feels out of control. In Buddhism, rituals are simple yet deeply meaningful. Lighting a candle, bowing, or chanting, these acts ground the mind, signaling that it's time to shift into a calmer state. You can create your own ritual. It doesn't have to be elaborate. What matters is consistency and intention. Examples of calming rituals. Light a candle and focus on its flickering flame. Brew a cup of tea, savoring every step from boiling the water to that first warm sip. Spend 5 minutes each day sitting quietly, breathing deeply, and repeating a calming mantra, like, "I am at peace." These rituals become a safe haven, a mental reset button you can press whenever life feels overwhelming. The story. A man shared how, after losing his job, he felt his world crumble. To regain his sense of peace, he created a nightly ritual, lighting a small candle, journaling his thoughts, and ending with deep. Over time, this simple practice became his anchor, helping him navigate uncertainty with grace. Reflection for part 2. Pause for a moment. Which of these lessons, letting go of control, practicing daily mindfulness, visualizing calm, or creating a calming ritual, feels most accessible to you? Maybe you'll start with one, or maybe you'll weave all of them into your daily life. Number 8. Build emotional resilience through acceptance. Let's talk about a simple but profound truth. Life doesn't always go as planned. You'll face setbacks, losses, and challenges that seem insurmountable. But here's the key. Your ability to bounce back isn't about avoiding these hardships. It's about how you respond to them. At the core of emotional resilience is acceptance. This doesn't mean giving up or resigning to misery. It means acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance. When you stop fighting against what's beyond your control, you free up energy to focus on what truly matters. Your next steps forward. Practical exercise. When something difficult happens, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what can I control here? What do I need to accept as it is? Write it down. By clearly separating what you can influence from what you can't, you'll begin to see a path forward. The story. There's an old Buddhist parable about a woman named Kisa Gotami. After losing her child, she was consumed by grief and sought a way to bring him back to life. The Buddha told her to collect a mustard seed from a household that had never experienced loss. She searched, but every family she visited had faced their own sorrows. Through this journey, she realized that suffering is a universal part of life. This acceptance didn't erase her pain, but it gave her the strength to carry it with grace and move forward. Acceptance isn't about erasing discomfort. It's about facing it with an open heart, allowing you to find peace even amidst life's storms. Number 9. Suffering is part of the human experience. One of Buddhism's most profound teachings is that suffering is an inevitable part of life. It's not a punishment or a sign that something is wrong. It's simply the nature of existence. But here's the empowering part. While you can't avoid pain, you can choose how you respond to it. When we resist pain, it often grows stronger. Think about a time you felt upset or hurt. Did trying to push those feelings away help? Likely not. But when you acknowledge your pain and allow yourself to feel it fully, it begins to lose its grip on you. Practical exercise. Next time you feel overwhelmed by pain or sadness, try this. Sit quietly and name the emotion you're experiencing. Say to yourself, "It's okay to feel this. I am human." Breathe deeply, giving space to that emotion without judgment. Over time, this practice helps you build a more compassionate relationship with your emotions. The story. The Buddha once told his disciples the story of the 2 arrows. The first arrow is the inevitable pain of life, a breakup, a loss, a failure. The second arrow is self-inflicted, the judgment, anger, and resistance we pile on top of the pain. While you can't avoid the first arrow, you can choose not to shoot the second. This choice makes all the difference between suffering and peace. Number 10. Find peace in impermanence. One of the most beautiful yet challenging teachings in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life, good and bad, will eventually pass. This might sound unsettling at first, but it's actually liberating. Think about it. The worst storms eventually clear. The deepest heartbreaks slowly heal. And even in the happiest moments, knowing they're temporary can make you cherish them more deeply. When you embrace impermanence, you learn to live fully in each moment, appreciating life's fleeting beauty without clinging to it. Practical exercise. Reflect on something you're struggling with right now. Remind yourself, this too shall pass. Then think about a joyful moment in your life. Did knowing it wouldn't last make it any less special? Likely not. Use this awareness to ground yourself in the present, savoring life's highs and accepting its lows. The story. There's a tale of a king who asked his wise men to create a ring that would make him happy when he was sad and humble when he was joyful. They inscribed it with the words, "This too shall pass." Whenever the king felt overwhelmed by life's extremes, he looked at the ring and found comfort in its truth. Impermanence teaches us that life's challenges are temporary, and so are its joys. Embracing this balance helps us stay calm, grounded, and open to all of life's experiences. Bringing it all together, let's reflect on what we've covered so far. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. Suffering is part of the human journey, but it doesn't have to define you. Impermanence reminds us to savor the present and trust that no storm lasts forever. These teachings are like tools in your emotional toolbox. The more you practice, the more resilient you become, ready to face whatever life throws your way with grace and inner peace. 11. Cultivate a daily practice of calmness. Let's face it, the lessons we've explored are only as powerful as the consistency with which you apply them. Just like building muscle at the gym, cultivating calm requires regular practice. The more you integrate these teachings into your daily life, the more naturally calmness will come to you, even in the most chaotic moments. Here's the good news. You don't need hours every day. Start small. Daily calm practice. Begin your morning with a few minutes of mindful breathing. Let your breath set the tone for your day. During the day, take mindful pauses. Whether it's before a big meeting or while stuck in traffic, take a moment to breathe deeply. Observe your emotions or visualize your mental sanctuary. End your day with a calming ritual, journaling, lighting a candle, or meditating for 5 to 10 minutes. The key is consistency. These small practices will accumulate, creating a solid foundation of peace that supports you through life's ups and downs. 12. Turn setbacks into stepping stones. Life will inevitably throw curveballs, but here's a mindset shift. Every setback is an opportunity in disguise. Think of life as a vast river, constantly flowing and shifting. You can't control the current, but you can learn to navigate it. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I use this experience to grow stronger? Reframing setbacks this way turns even the toughest moments into valuable lessons. It allows you to maintain perspective and prevent stress from overwhelming you. The story. A young artist once faced repeated rejections from galleries. Frustrated, she considered quitting. But instead, she used the feedback to refine her work. Over time, her art evolved, and eventually, she created pieces that not only gained acceptance but also critical acclaim. Her setbacks became the stepping stones to her success. 13. Surround yourself with support and positivity. Calmness isn't just an internal practice, it's also influenced by your environment and the people you surround yourself with. Negative, chaotic environments can drain your energy and make it harder to stay grounded. On the flip side, supportive, positive surroundings uplift you. Take a moment to evaluate your environment. Are there people in your life who constantly bring stress or negativity? Are you regularly consuming news or media that heightens your anxiety? Consider setting boundaries where necessary and intentionally surrounding yourself with people and activities that nourish your well-being. Spend time with those who inspire calmness and positivity. Practical exercise. Create a calm space in your home. A quiet corner with comforting elements like soft lighting, a cozy chair, or soothing music. Retreat to this space whenever you need to recharge. 14. Practice self-compassion. Here's an often overlooked truth. Staying calm doesn't mean being perfect. You will have moments when you lose your cool, when stress takes over, or when fear and anger get the best of you. And that's okay. The key is not to judge yourself harshly in these moments. Instead, practice self-compassion. Recognize that you're human, and like everyone else, you're learning and growing. Practical exercise. The next time you feel you've failed to stay calm, pause and say to yourself, I'm doing my best. It's okay to feel this way. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a close friend. This attitude not only reduces stress, but also makes it easier to bounce back and return to a state of calm. The story. A teacher once told her students, imagine carrying a heavy backpack all day. Every time you criticize yourself, you're adding another stone to that bag. But when you show yourself compassion, you start removing those stones. Over time, your load becomes lighter and your journey easier. 15. Embrace life as a journey, not a destination. Finally, remember this. Calmness is not a place you arrive at once and for all. It's a journey, an ongoing practice that evolves with you. Some days will be easier than others, and that's part of the process. The goal isn't to eliminate stress or chaos from your life completely. That's impossible. Instead, it's about learning to navigate life's storms with grace and resilience. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to mastering your inner peace. Closing reflection. Take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored. The power of your breath, the wisdom of observing your emotions, the strength found in acceptance, and impermanence. The peace that comes from daily mindfulness and self-compassion. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical tools you can carry with you every day. As you integrate them into your life, you'll find that even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, you have the power to stay calm, centered, and at peace. Call to action. If these teachings have resonated with you, take the first step today. Choose one practice, maybe mindful breathing or creating a calming ritual, and commit to it. With time, these small actions will transform your relationship with stress and help you cultivate unshakable calmness. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found these lessons valuable, don't forget to share them with others who might need a little calm in their lives. Until next time, embrace your calm and live fully present.